Good evening. It is now nearly 9:30 on a humid, sweaty Thursday night in the great country of England. And I'm not sure about Wales, but I imagine rain. Nathan can tell us a little bit more later. If you are wanting, like myself, to experience a masterclass, an absolute chess match in elite coaching, go and watch the NBA Finals. Go and watch Rick Carlisle versus Thunder. You'll have to apologise. I don't know your coach's name. I'm sure it begins with D. I did try and remember it off the top of my head, but it's gone. Absolute masterclass in the finals. I mean, the great thing about being a European American sports fan, boys, is you get to wake up to a win at 7, and it's not even 7 a.m. and your team's taken a 2-1 lead in the finals. Have you boys had a chance to catch up with the last game?
I haven't watched any of it. I've got to be honest. I think you nailed it with the fact that you can kind of just wake up and the first thing you see is the score. But yeah, I haven't really watched any of it, which is a shame. I'm the only loser there, I guess. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, I've been watching. I was a little bit concerned this morning, though, because I didn't have a 5:15 text from Harrison giving me an update of what had happened. So I put the highlights on this morning, and I was a little bit sceptical. I was a little bit concerned that maybe the Pacers had lost because, yeah, I didn't have my usual wake-up text to tell me how well they
What it was is usually, well, the past couple of weeks, my toddler has been struggling to sleep, nightmares, growing pains, sleep regression. So usually I've been up and about around that time. So I'm usually like, oh, I've got something to watch at least. And then the past few nights he's been sleeping through, and I'm like, God, 1:30 in the morning. It's just too late for me to even attempt. You know, I mean, there is a point there. Sports.
Excuse me.
And we're going to get to this. I'm a bit behind because of the technical problems I've been having. But sports, football, coverage of football, us guys, the mainstream media, there is a massive problem now for me in saturation.
Oh, yeah.
The great thing about us guys, and if you're over here and you like the professional version of rounders that America play and have made a multi-million sports out of, don't know how. It's a sports we get trained in year 6, and then they stop teaching us, and it's just go and play football or rugby, and some sort of walking around the field with a map called orienteering for our American fellows. But no, so the great thing about being a European sports fan is your sports is all year round. We get soccer from the end of summer through to the beginning of spring, and then we get American football similar time, and then you get NBAs from winter to spring, and then if you like baseball or cricket, then you covered all year round. What I'm monologuing to, and all this waffle is going to, gents, and Ed, feel free to take the lead on this. Are we at a point where there's just too much?
Too much sport or too much particular sport, would you say?
Well, let's break it down, and let's start, for me, with too much sports. England were playing international friendlies. I didn't watch a single one. That's in soccer. Didn't watch a single one. I won't be watching any of the corrupt World Cup. Club World Cup, sorry. And I didn't watch any of the Nations League. This is me just talking soccer centric, so you boys feel free to expand it to other sports we love. But for me, every media, of course they are, because it's a business, is finding a way to make their sport 12 months. And I'm going to be honest, boys, the past couple of years watching Arsenal, not just because we've been shit, but watching Arsenal, watching the Colts, trying to watch some of the Pacers, it's just too much. It's felt like a chore. It's felt like a real chore. So is there too much sport?
I'm happy to start that. I'm gonna say no, but I guess that's because like sport is a gigantic passion of mine, and I kind of been brought up on sport, various different ones. I mean, and it might be the Welshman in me, but I'd watch Wales in snail racing if I could, anything in a red shirt, I'm watching it type of thing. I agree that watching indies felt like a chore, but hopefully that turns around. I think we'll obviously touch on it in this episode, but yeah, the media element of sport can sometimes be just exhausting. The like if we link it to soccer for a second, like the transfer window currently is just so much rubbish out there.
Yeah.
And it's like designed and positioned in a way to make you think, oh, could this be true? And then it's not true, and you're kind of pissed off at your club for that, which does sometimes catch me out as well. And I think, why the hell am I mad at my team for this? It's nothing to do with them. Which I guess is cool with obviously what we're here to talk about, because we have such a regimented period of the year where transfers happen and free agent signings happen, the drafts happen. Um, and we're currently in, to kind of link back to my main point, and then I'll bring Ed in. We're in that time of the year where people are throwing footballs to air, and being called Super Bowl winners, and being compared to Peyton Manning because they threw a 30-yard ball with no defense on the field. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's too much sport, just because personally I love it, and that's better than any reality TV that may be out there. Do you agree, Ed?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. I think you're both right, to be honest with you. I think there is an element of saturation. I don't know if that's a word. Yeah, we'll go with it. At the top level, and I think that is brought about because, I think it's brought about mainly because of money.
Yeah,
we can monetize. If we can monetize something, we're going to give you more of it. We see it if we talk about briefly, we'll talk about the club FIFA. What was it you called it, Harrison? The corrupt, the Club World Cup. Which, listen, I've watched and played, coached, trained that type of football since I could walk. Basically, love the game, always have done. I won't watch a second of that. I haven't really got any interest in watching glorified sort of friendlies. My issue with sport at the top level, and it's not just round ball football, I'm talking about tennis. I used to play a lot of tennis when I was younger. Cricket, I know, Nathan, you're a big cricket fan. I look at these top level sports, and what I loved about it when I was growing up was I looked at those people on the TV, or I looked if I was fortunate enough to go to the ground, and they were playing a version of the game that I was playing. Now with technology, with monetization, it's so far away from what I kind of grew up watching a lot of these sports that it's kind of lost that little bit of joy for me, which ultimately, because like Nathan, I'm a huge sports fan. Like I would, I'd sit and watch pretty much anything. If I walk my dog and there's, a Sunday league game going on over the field, I'm one of those that will stop and watch. Like one of my favourite things on a Saturday afternoon where I live, there's a massive field and you've got football, as in round ball football, and rugby pitches. And if I walk my dog, you can quite happily just spend, watching. And, these are just blokes my sort of age. So I enjoy watching sports. But at the top level, I do agree, Harrison. I think it's gone. There's so much out there. And with that, the monetization and the media that goes with it of everybody. And this will obviously come into what we want to talk about tonight. But everybody desperate to have that hot take. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's desperate to get that hot take, because if you can get yourself a clip that goes viral, or if you can get something that a post that goes viral or something, it's all money. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. And I think for a lot of purists, that makes me sound like something I'm not, but for somebody who just genuinely enjoys sports, because like Nathan said, I'd rather watch a game of anything than Love Island or some third. No, I would. Like that's just me.
I'm
That's
glad
no
I'm not
disrespect.
alone.
I'd rather watch it, but I'd rather watch sport. To me, sport is the best live entertainment drama you're ever going to watch. Whatever sport it is. You know, the T20's just started. That's great. That's a great life. You know, I like watching the darts, the snooker, whatever it is. I will probably be watching it. But I do think that desperation for everything to be the next big thing, the next big take, another tournament, more. It's just becoming a bit much, to be honest with you. That's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, so I suppose maybe I phrased my question wrong, because too much sport makes it sound like that someone doing sports is a bad thing. Sports is never going to be a bad thing. At its grassroots level, like you said, Ed, it's fantastic. It can do its amazing good. There's a little bit I'll come back to later, but to move us on to what you wanted to talk about, Ed, and what you pitched in the group was, I think I've sort of gone down the right path, and that is Riley Leonard is the best rookie quarterback drafted since Peyton Manning.
Yes.
And now I've got 15 people saying, "Oh, you know nothing, you're blah blah blah," and now I've always been clear about UK Colts fans when we was that Southbound. Now I'm not going to be that clickbait journalist. I'd rather have one viewer and it be me recording on my phone so I can watch on a different screen as well as recording, than go viral for 15 minutes with some sort of shit take like a Stephen A. Smith or a Greg Doyle from the Star. I'll happily call these people out all the time because I think they're scum. Gary Neville and twats. Like, I know this, they're never going to see this, so I can say it, but I'll happily take these people on. Why I think they're just, it's a race to the bottom. I think I heard, this is an Arsenal podcast, a Patreon podcast that I pay for listening, so it is Arsenal centric. But the fella on there writes for The Athletic, James Nicholas, and he was saying it feels like an arms race to the bottom. And rage bait, clickbait is what I'm sort of fanning around here, Ed.
Yeah.
But you wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, I think it was, we're into June. There's a bit of a lull. I mean, obviously the NFL season finished, where we now, June. The Super Bowl was February. So we're 4 months away from 4 months since any meaningful football was played. And we're still at least, 3 months before the season starts. So it's a long off season in the NFL. So if we talk, if we bring it back to the NFL, because obviously this is a predominantly NFL podcast, it's a long off season. One of the great things about the NFL, for those that don't follow it or follow it closely, is they do kind of make a 4 month season into a 12-month event. There are sort of lulls and there are periods when it does go a bit quiet. Like now it'll probably go a bit quiet, but there is still a lot of talking points during the off season. But what I've seen recently and why I wanted to bring it up tonight is when I'm scrolling online, you know what it's like when you're meant to be working. And you just pick your phone up and have a little scroll instead. The increase in just nonsense that I'm seeing. And yes, I'm using X, which I think obviously I know people have their thoughts on that as a social media site anyway, but I like it for the sports element. You do get some good engagement on there. But I've just seen some takes on there. And I have to admit, I have bitten a couple of times, maybe when I'm a bit bored. But that's kind of feeding the beast, isn't it? That's exactly what these people want. That's exactly what they're looking for. So I just thought it'd be interesting because the reason I want to do this now is because I saw a take. It was either yesterday or the day before, and I literally put my phone down and thought, I'm not even going to. No, I'm not even going to engage with this. I'm going to put my phone down and walk away because I want to bite back on this so badly, but I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. And then, like I say, I just started looking at a few more, and I've just jotted a few down, and I just thought they're just utter nonsense. So I thought it'd be an interesting conversation to have tonight. I don't know if you guys have got any that you've seen that you want to bring up. One thing I'm going to say, sorry, Nate, before you jump in, mate. One thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to give any accounts the satisfaction of saying where I've got these from because that's exactly what they're looking for. But I've got some hideous takes on here. Go on, Nate. Sorry, mate.
So I'd like to ask you guys if you've ever heard of the X page Dov Kleeman. Has that guy ever come across your feed?
Yeah.
Now, this guy was put on my radar via the Heed the Call podcast, which is a gigantic podcast run by Dan Handless and Mark Says. Everybody should go watch it. It's wicked. But they were debating this guy. He became like a feature of their show because his tweets are just ridiculous. And they're trying to work out, is it a human or is it AI? and I'm going to give you an example, right? And like, I implore everyone to just look at this page because it's hilarious. So the NFL draft was 2 months ago, right? So this guy's put a clip up of Baker throwing to Emeka Egbuka, the Bucks wide receiver from Ohio State, who's a beast, right? But he's literally called it Bucks rookie Emeka Egbuka is a beast. Baker and Emeka have phenomenal chemistry. It was mandatory training camp this week. That's the first time he's thrown a ball to him on a pitch. And I'm just going to keep scrolling, right? There's one here. Miles Garrett should not be able to move like this. 6'4" and 272 pounds of pure muscle. He's like a first ballot Hall of Fame defensive lineman. Look, the takes on here are way worse than the ones that I've read to you there. Please go and have a look at this guy and come and tell us, do you think it's a human or do you think it's a machine?
I mean, if it is AI, then I'm worried because the AI is absolutely rage baiting the crap out of humans, and it's only been sort of in the public eye for a few years.
Oh, we're done, mate. We are done. If it's ever Terminator, we are done. Yeah,
if it's rage baiting us with NFL hot takes, imagine what it could do to us if it actually tried doing something proper.
This is a quick side note, and I'll let you carry on, Ed, because I found it funny today. So obviously, different countries have their own AI profiles. You have is it Grok or something like that?
Yeah.
And it was Rory Stewart, and he has about 4 different ones from America, China, because he's Rory Stewart, he's a politician, he likes to get a balanced debate, he calls it. So if you ask the Chinese one, is Donald Trump corrupt? It gives you a full list of reasons as to why Donald Trump's corrupt. But if you say, is Chow Sai-ping, I'm sure that's his name, the Chinese dictator, or whatever they call it. If you ask him if he's corrupt, it just says, I can't help you. Shuts down. But anyway, that's a side note onto AI. We are not a tech stream. We're not tech bros. This is NFL. So, Ed, some clickbait you've got.
I've got some great clickbait. I've got a summary of similar to this kind of stuff Nathan's just been reading, but these were just a few I highlighted because of just wow takes. But I don't even know if this is true or if this is just pure bullshit that somebody's put on there just to get people like me to just go, what? So I've not even fact checked this, but Jalen Hurts has more career rushing touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey, 55-52. That's what it said. And then followed up with a question. Is Christian McCaffrey overrated? It's just like,
oh my God. I mean, where do we even start? Where do you even start in that debate? That is just...
Nathan, that's quite nicely segued us into the point you made in the group chat about Jonathan Taylor's not a top 10 running back ever.
Oh,
yeah. Honestly, the amount of the amount of these kind of rage bait posts I see in these grouped together rankings of players, and like Taylor's just not seen on any running back hype in football, and I'm like, this guy, like, when healthy, is like a top 5 back, and I'm not even being biased. Like he's an elite player. So yeah, hit us with another one, Ed, because and I'm going to try fact check some of these in the background if you can
Yes.
see me on my phone, right?
Yeah. I think
Let's have a look.
fact check rage bait.
So Christian McCaffrey has had 52 career touchdowns. Jalen Hurts has had, drum roll, where's his rushing touchdowns?
He's only. I suppose McCaffrey's been injured a lot.
It's just like I don't even know where to go with it. I mean, I like Jalen Hurts, I like Christian McCaffrey, but it's like oranges and apples, isn't it? You can't compare a quarterback to a running back. I mean, it's just daft. It just made me chuckle. That was all. But yeah,
in his career, he actually has had 55. Yeah, which means
there you go.
That Christian McCaffrey is overrated.
Maybe it's not rage bait. Maybe I'm just getting irrationally angry at the thought of a quarterback having more rushing touchdowns than what I consider an elite running back.
I will say though, Ed, in your defence, right, the photo of Jalen is in his Alabama uniform. So I think this person has literally gone for his whole football career, which I'm just verifying now. I believe, it's his whole career. So that's a rage bait post. That's a perfect example of rage bait post.
It got me. That was one. Staying on the another one that I particularly like. Staying on the Jalen Hurts theme. Based on last year, again, I haven't verified any of these stats. I'm purely just getting angry off of the graphic that's put in front of me. I'm not looking to verify. I'm acting like a normal social media person. Doesn't look to fact check. Sees something he doesn't like and gets angry about it and immediately reacts. That's how it works, isn't it? We don't look to verify the information. We just get angry about it. So, Bo Nix, 3,775 yards last year. Jalen Hurts. This isn't all about Jalen Hurts, by the way. It's just these two were to do with Jalen Hurts. I'm not a fanboy of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had 2,093 yards last year. Doesn't say whether they're all-purpose, rushing, passing, total. It just says yards. That's all I've got for you. Who would you rather have in your team?
I mean, just incredible. And obviously, Bo Nix being the product of Sean Payton's quarterback-friendly system, plug and play system, which, I mean, Bo Nix or Super Bowl, two-time Super Bowl winner, Jalen Hurts.
MVP
decision for me.
He was MVP, exactly right, Harrison. Yeah, he was MVP as well. Right, against Patrick Mahomes, the face of the NFL, no less as well. So yeah, but Bo Nix is your guy apparently because he'd done 400 years in college football and came into the NFL as a 32-year-old vet. And so apparently,
just to like peek behind the curtains, what a great episode would be if we built a team based off these AI Twitter takes.
I'm up for that. That'd be some good homework too.
Yeah, and we put it through. There must be a simulator you can put it through and see how it did. That'd be amazing. But
so at the moment, then we've got Bo Nix at quarterback. Jalen Hurts will have to go at running back based on the last one because
quarterback 2, running back 1.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Oh, okay. And then this is the one that got me. So before I get on to the one that really, really pissed me off because it's about the Colts, which is probably why it got me more than anything. before I go into that, one thing I don't like on these sort of clickbait, rage bait, engagement things, and Nathan, you alluded to it there with Jonathan Taylor, where people list these, players in rankings, blah, 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 whatever. Obviously, we did our AFC power ranking, South power rankings last week, but that was based on research and stats from stuff that's actually happened, and we formed opinions and gone off of that. No problems with that. What I have an issue with when people do these rankings, so you get a list of, I don't know, top 10 wide receivers in the NFL right now, and somebody will go and put in a rookie who's never played a snap in the NFL.
Yep.
I find that so irritating because I don't care how good of a prospect you are, until you've taken a snap in the NFL, it doesn't mean anything, does it?
Exactly. And you're right, it's all too common. It's almost becoming normality, isn't it, to see rookies in these, as you say, top 10 this, top 15 that. Obviously, quarterbacks is the real one that gets the engagement. But you're exactly right. I mean, I saw a running back table that had Ashton Jean T third in it.
Yeah,
third. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's to get that exact reaction, isn't it? And to comment on it and go, there's no way Gene T's better than JT or
exactly.
Jameer Gibbs or whatever. And then they're winning. They've got you. The hook's in.
And that is exactly it, mate. And that's where you get so frustrated. But there was one, before I get on to the one that I want to talk about, I saw top 50 wide receivers in the NFL right now, which was, this is the one that, I don't know if you guys have seen this post, but there was one Colts wide receiver who made the top 50, and he snuck in. Pardon?
Was it Pierce?
No, it wasn't Pierce.
Downs?
It wasn't Downs.
Pittman.
It was Pittman, who came in
Finally.
who came in at 50, I might add. So he was the only Colts receiver worthy of a top 50 spot, apparently. But some names that were allegedly ahead. So you had two rookies. Travis Hunter, who's going to spend half his bloody snaps playing defense anyway. Emeka Egbuka. I'm so bad with names. Sorry. Never played a snap. I know he's got amazing chemistry with Baker Mayfield, as per our pal Dov, but he's still not played a snap in the NFL. You've not actually played yet, okay? Josh Downs wasn't in the top 50. I don't think there's many Colts fans that would have Pittman as our number one receiver. I know I really love the guy, but Josh Downs is to me wide receiver number one. That's I think fairly consistent. Adam Thielen was ahead of him.
Did he play last year?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, he did, believe it or not. He was the old guard. Yeah, he did play.
With the Panthers, yeah. And I'm just sitting there looking at thinking, again, like, I'm not saying Michael Pittman, 50 I think might be a bit harsh. There's a couple of players there, no disrespect to them, that I think he is better than. I'd probably have him somewhere between sort of 30 and 40. But Josh Downs wasn't even on the list. You just sit there and you think, like, and like I say, Travis Hunter's in there, because he's the shiny new thing that's come into the NFL, because he did well at Colorado. Like, I'm sure he'll do fine until Javarius Ward locks him down. And then we'll see what a superstar he can be.
It's done its job, though, because it's annoyed me, that, and I'm just going, how can you not have Alec Pitts in there, who set a record for most 20-plus yard catches with quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson?
Yep.
Who set a almost league record low quarterback accuracy rating? Let's throw in the records that we're breaking as a Colts fan.
God,
right?
I can't remember who our other quarterback was. Anthony Richardson. It was QB. Oh yeah, fucking Jesus Christ! And I'm just like, but it's annoyed me, and it's done its job, because I'm like, I think again, sorry to make this Arsenal centric 10 seconds on
No,
Arsenal.
no, you're fine.
But we have two great centre backs. I'm sure you two know Saliba and Gabriel, been one of the best players in the Premier League. And this year, Gabriel has been miles ahead of Saliba in being our leader, being great, phenomenal. But if you ask everyone, and it's like, oh, you can, and when we do these like Arsenal Man City 11s and Arsenal Liverpool 11s and Premier League of the Year 11s, it's always like, oh, you can have Saliba and someone else. And it's like, well, no, because Gabriel's been better this year. You're just saying the lowest common denominator because you know nothing about my team. Like they put Pittman in because they probably typed Colts wide receiver, and the first picture is Michael Pittman. Oh, yeah, Pittman, not doing.
Absolutely.
These experts who do a million drafts just so they can hark back to a draft they've done in June, a mock draft they've done in June to go, see, I was right. And it's like, yeah, but you've done 2,000. The chances are you're going to get the top 3 picks if you do 2,000 drafts. Like, it, yeah. Well, I just, a side note, this like whole, I like mock drafts. I've got no problem with people who want to mock draft. That's what it's about. That's a great thing about the media community, the fan content like we do. But it goes back to, you know, Mel Kiper, doesn't it really? Mel Kiper saying we have to take Ryan Leaf. That's not my earliest memory of it, but that's the earliest like situation I know of it. That makes sense. Like I had no idea that happened until 2014, but when was that? 98 we drafted Peyton?
98.
Yeah. You know, so I'd just like to chuck out a bit of mine before we carry on. Like,
yeah,
it's all bollocks. No matter what, like you say, we did the power rankings last week, and I had the Colts at 1 because I'm a complete fucking homer, and I'm never going to not have the Colts at 1. But I do also understand when we finish 8 and 9 this season with Riley Leonard as our quarterback when we miss out on the playoffs again. You know, I do understand that. It was just a bit of a laugh, but I've seen, like you say, just ridiculous takes. And it's like, for me, it's the pitting against each other. You get like I say, you'll get Gary Neville because he knows Arsenal fans are the most reactive, and we've created this problem. I'm not ashamed to say we are part of the beast in Arsenal fan TV. Horrible channel, don't subscribe to them. Twats, a lot of them. But this sort of like, it's okay fans doing it, right? Fans being clickbaity, fans being a lowest common denominator, because we're mates with fans, we can argue with it. I can say Isak's a crap striker, and Nathan knows that's just because I hate Newcastle and that they stole him off us. I have no problem with a Patriots fan saying to us Brady's better than Manning. He's not, but you can say that. I start having a problem when you get your experts, your pundits, who are now going, oh, was Matt Letizia a better striker than Thierry Henry because he scored in an FA Cup final? No.
Yeah.
You know, was Sam Erlinger a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield this year because he had a higher completion rate? He threw one pass, and the guy. Do you know what I mean? When it's coming from experts, this is where I really have a problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what you see now on a lot of TV. It does seem to be a lot more sort of like hot takes and trying to sort of get engagement. And, you know, so I listen to, if I'm not listening to a podcast, I'll generally have like the radio on in the background, and you hear like some of the topics they come up with, and you're sitting there going, you're just desperate for people to call in. That's what you're looking for. So, I mean, I can't honestly believe that you believe half the stuff you're saying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're saying this purely to get people like me who are sat at home to phone up and go, you're talking absolute nonsense. And like you say, when you have that in the professional media, it does start to get a bit tiring after a while. It does start to get a bit tiring.
And have you guys ever watched First Take in States live, or like seen. I'm assuming you've seen clips of Stephen A. Smith, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that ESPN pay him, I think, in the range of 300 to 400 million,
Crazy.
right, for
Wow.
that show. That figure was quoted in like a kind of banter line to Stephen A. recently. The fact that that's glorified, his job is to go on live TV and say these crazy things because as soon as he goes off air, they're forgotten about because we're all waiting for his opinion on the next thing, Another one, Colin Cowherd, very famous, show host, radio host, podcast host in America. In the lineup to the draft this year, I was watching one of his like mock drafts. He completely like misnamed and misteamed a starting NFL quarterback right now. I can't remember who it was, but none of his team even stepped in either. He was talking about a player for the complete wrong team. I think it was Bo Nix or one of the rookies that's starting. He was like did like a 5-minute monologue on the guy playing for a completely describing that he was playing for like Auckland or something. And I was like, where's the producers in his ear going, Colin, mate, you're talking about the wrong team.
Yeah.
But it's because by design, the next 24 hours, no one even remembers what they said. And like the glorification, back to your point, Harrison, of arguing. Shannon Sharp, a viral guy with Stephen A. for just being put in front of a camera and told to kick off. Just have a massive argument on TV, boys, because it's really funny. But imagine being told that. Imagine we were told that right now, or we met on WhatsApp and gone, right, Harrison, I want you to say that you've changed your mind and you're all in on Daniel Jones, and then Ed's going to go absolutely berserk at you, and then I'm going to go berserk. Do you know what I mean? It's just staged, as you say, dramatics. And I think that's the scary part about it, is it's almost it has no consequence for people like that to go on TV, say something, and for it to be forgotten about. That's one of the big problems.
That is a fantastic. That is a fantastic point.
Yeah, and I think yeah. I mean, we could talk bigger picture, but to keep it sports, because we're sports podcasters, we know nothing about the real world. Ignore any of our takes on the real world, but the whole thing you said there about not having consequences to what you say is I think hits the nail on the head. Freedom of speech, yes, absolutely. I'm a purist of freedom of speech, and I stand by that. But I'll keep it in sports because there's two things you shouldn't talk about, and that's the Colts going 17-0 and politics. But that's the way it is. So I'd like to say I've got no problem with someone saying I think that player's crap. No problem.
Yeah.
But when you say that player's crap, and I go, okay, what I don't expect is, well, actually, he's really crap because I've said this, and it's like, okay. But that's what I feel. I think to me, and I've said this to you, but use whatever platform you like. I won't hold any platform use against anyone what you use. But for me, for X, it became all my content became Spurs, Liverpool, Man City. It became not so much Patriots, but dogging on the Colts. And recently on Instagram, it's become the Knicks, the Thunder, and it's become people like Stephen A. Smith saying was it him who said Halliburton's not a superstar or something like that? Some crap like that. So the big picture for me is, just to clear up for anybody watching now and still decided to watch it after getting through all the waffle and technical problems, is I'm an Arsenal, Colts, Pacers fan. Why on earth do I want to see content for Liverpool, United, Spurs, Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks? Is it because it has something to do with my team beating these teams this year? And that's going to engage me in the wrong way? And that's just the dark world of technology. But like I say, I'm a purist of freedom of speech. Use what you want when you want. Just for me, there are good content creators out there, honest content creators out there. Will not sell out. NFL Colts, if you're listening, will not sell out. Do not send us any free stuff. Don't want any free stuff. If you've ever watched Wayne's World, you know what I'm getting at. Doritos, Pepsi, Coke, don't sell out. So don't send us anything free.
Okay, Ed, hit us with this Colts hot take, and then we can wrap this up. But this is the part I'm excited for.
Yeah, I hope I've not set this up now too much, but this has rattled me. So, the Post said that the Cleveland Browns are looking after their training camp to release one of Shador Sanders or Dylan Gabriel.
God.
The Colts need a quarterback. We don't. Will one of them end up there?
I'll go first because I absolutely love this, and it becomes and it walks in the line of, I love it when you see a transfer take and it's like Indianapolis Colts have asked about progressing concrete talks to approach Ed to be tight end one, and it's like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck? Yeah. But no, I want no piece of them quarterbacks. You know me, boys. I'm going to ride Riley Leonard all the way.
I mean, I'm still going to stand on the hill that Daniel Jones taking us to the promised land is quite literally the worst thing I think that could happen to the Colts trajectory right now. Let's keep quarterback purgatory going. Let's bring Shador to Indy. I'm all for it. Let's make it even more complicated.
Just like
God. If you can't work with the quarterbacks, try for
it. Can you imagine the reaction, boys? Imagine waking up and seeing Sanders has joined Indianapolis to join the quarterback competition.
I know we're all getting tired, so how would it? I'm guessing he's not signed his contract yet, or has he?
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, they have signed it, but I think they might cut one of them because they've got about 500 quarterbacks, haven't they?
Imagine what Chris Ballard would be dubbed if he picks up Shador Sanders, who's been cut from the Browns, and he picks him up on a free, and then Shador Sanders goes on to be the first round Hall of Famer that his dad thinks he is.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be a happy coincidence, but it was just more a case of like the Colts. We don't need a quarterback. Like Richardson's only resting his shoulder. He's not. Do you know what I mean? It's this whole overreaction to this shoulder injury. We don't need another quarterback. The one final one I'm gonna leave. This is my final one. I wish this was rage bait, but it turned out it wasn't. Was that Desmond Ridder is working out with the Colts during this minicamp? I saw that and I really hope that was a clickbait or rage bait, but that turned out to be true. Desmond Ridder was working out with the Colts during this recent minicamp. Thoughts?
I'd rather Tyler Heineke.
I mean, if you could guarantee me Arch Manning in a Colts uniform, first overall in 2026, I'd be all for it, because we will not win a game with Ritter at quarterback. And I think this roster can win games if the quarterback plays with stability. Yeah, it'd just be a horror show, wouldn't it? And again, a horror show that Daniel Jones can't beat out. A guy that only has one shoulder, and Desmond Ridder. We're laughing at this, boys. We've got to root for this all year.
Like they say, you laugh because the alternative isn't worth thinking about, mate. But yeah, there is a very real world. I mean, I'm hoping it is just a workout and that they work him out and go, oh, actually, yeah, you aren't very good, are you? You can go again now. But who knows with the Indianapolis Colts? Who knows what we'll do?
Yeah.
Before
we end,
go on.
I would love to just chat for 30 seconds about some AFC South news. A all-pro player has joined our rivals, gents. Nick Chubb has arrived into the AFC South. He's signing for the Houston Texans. Pretty scary to think of that backfield right now. Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb are a scary 1-2 punch for me, if both can stay healthy. And just pretty cool to see a player of that level in our division. The South's getting better, player-wise every year. And really cool that, like a genuine top 5 back when he's playing on form is in the division.
They're just going full Ryan Grigson then.
They're doing something down there, yeah.
If I was CJ, I'd be like, you couldn't have got me a left tackle. Couldn't have got me a left tackle.
That, you know what, though, Harrison, you joke, but that was my first thought. So, like, Nick Chubb, if he's healthy, that is, like Nathan says, that's a problem. That's a hell of a backfield. But if that O-line is anything like it was last year, it's irrelevant because they ain't going to get anywhere. So, yeah, who knows? We'll see. But yes, just on that as well, if people are still there, if people watch this back, you've got a day to go. Over at the Huddle UK on X, they're running a poll at the moment on who's going to win the AFC South. At the moment, the Colts are coming in last place.
Shock. Is it just your vote, Ed? Is it?
I think I'm the only, and I've already played my repost card as well. Like, I've reposted it to try and get some more support, and it's made no difference. So, if anybody out there could please vote and get the Colts off the bottom. I mean, look, the Jags and the Texans, I could hear your arguments on, but I'm not having that the Titans are going to finish above us this year. I'm sorry. At this moment in time, I'm just not having it.
Anyway, I think I think that is a good place to end in a happy place. Talked about some big subjects, and over the summer we've got a lot of stuff coming. More divisional power rankings will be coming through the off season. More subjects like this I'd like to do. Maybe player welfare would be a good one. The NIL deals in collegiate football. Ed, or Nathan, I can't remember who reached out to the college football guy.
Yes, so yeah, we've got him coming on in July. He's going to come on and give us a rundown of players that the Colts could potentially be looking at in 2026, which I know, Nathan, you're a big college guy, and I know that's something that you're really keen on, and I think, well, we all are really, because it'll be interesting to see the players to look out for going into the new year. And yeah, he's an expert, so it'd be great to get his take because, yeah, something a bit different.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have got a lot of content coming up after just complaining about too much content about football. See the irony. I would say to anyone who has got through this absolute Indianapolis Colts QB purgatory of a season podcast, this episode has been a struggle thanks to technology. Boys, thanks for sticking with it. Go and check out over the huddle, I would recommend going watching someone like Rich Eisen rather than Stephen A. Smith. Rich Eisen is an extremely clever and good podcaster. There's loads who are actually decent out there. Go and check them out. And don't just listen to shit. Simple as that. If you see the shit, write something out in your notes app. Delete it after writing it out. It feels so much better than actually getting involved with Elon Musk's AI bots. See you all later. Go Colts.
See you later.